continues now, as we do every week. We try and have a discussion around careers or matters of social importance to you as a young person. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about what it's like to navigate the tech world, the world of technology as a young Kenyan. What is it like to be a young entrepreneur, to start your own business, create your own app, get it, sold, and start making money in the world of tech? I've got two techpreneurs, shall I say, here who are joining me, who are going to tell me all about their journey in being young entrepreneurs. So I'll start with the lady. Introduce yourself and just a brief introduction about who you are and what you do.
Hey, my name is Kate Kiguru, and I'm the CEO of UCall. It's an IT company. We do mobile and web solutions. We work with different organizations like security companies, NGOs, marketing firms, basically helping them keep track of their mobile workforces, manage their HR workforces, analyze their businesses, make sure it makes all sense. So that's what I do.
All right, welcome. All right, next.
Hi guys, my name is Edwin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Salama Technology Limited. So it's basically a mobile app platform that links you to emergency services at the tap of a button. Usalama has been running for around 3 years. You can easily get it from Play Store, and whenever in an emergency, just tap on a button and we'll link you to emergency services.
Yeah. Okay, welcome Edwin. Thanks for being here. So we're going to get a live demonstration of your app a little bit later on. But first, I just want to talk about what it's like to be in this tech industry, in this tech space in Kenya as a young person. We're always hearing about people, I have a new app, I want to sell my app, I want to get people to download this, I have a new idea. Everyone thinks, my idea is going to be the one that is going to break through it all. But it's not that easy. So maybe we can start with you, Kate, and tell us a little bit about your journey as a young person in tech.
Yeah, so it's been amazing. I don't think I would do it any differently, but I'd say it's changed a lot from where I began. I thought I had an idea like every other young person here, but it's changed a lot, and this is because of the consumers. Being a techie is one thing, but building solutions that make sense is a whole different thing. You need customers, you need people with problems to tell you their problems. So being in tech is more like being a doctor, finding people's problems and building solutions. And I always say, if somebody doesn't pay for it, or they're not willing to work with you, don't build it. Mm-hmm. So it's not a good idea if it's not gonna be a solution for someone.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually. What is sort of your educational background? What did you study before you got into the field?
I did my diploma in computer science in KIST, and I started working since then. And I decided, in tech, it's a never-ending journey. Every day is a learning day. Like, the technologies keep changing. So being in school is, okay, I'm not the best person to advise you, but I realized at a very young age that school just gives you basics. Now, you need to be willing, to be very strong-willed and willing to learn if you're gonna make it in the tech field. So every day is school day for me since I finished my diploma.
Yeah. Edwin, how about you? What did you study and how did you start your journey to create your app?
So I went to Strathmore University. I studied a degree called informatics, Bachelor of Science in Informatics and Computer Science. That's when I met my my two other colleagues, Marvin and James, who are my co-founder. And what happened was I had an incident where I couldn't access emergency services. I was mugged just some few distant around Strathmore University. And I realized that there was no quick way to quickly get access to emergencies. So my friends and I sat together and came with this platform that will link victims of emergency to service providers. I can say for me personally, my journey has been very interesting. Starting the company while I was in second year of university was tough because even though we were techies, we had the skill to develop, we still needed some bit of capital to set, for example, to get the server where we'll host the app and be able to buy space on the Google Play Store. So
where did that money come from? Because for a young person in university thinking, I need all, and maybe you can tell us how much it even costs to develop that app.
Yeah. So basically, the amount of money we were looking for here was hosting space would require roughly around 25,000 per a period of around 1 year per year, and then getting your app on Google Play Store will require you to pay what is this, $10. The good thing about that is just a one-off fee.
Okay.
So how did you get the cash to do that? So we realized at that age you can't go. We wanted to try to be self-sufficient. So we said, instead of looking externally, let's look internally what we have and see whether we can generate revenue out of that. So we were skilled developers. I myself have a background in Android development. So what we did was actually sort out corporates or individuals or companies that wanted people to do apps for them. So we did that. Luckily for us, our first job was well paying, around $4,000. So that's the amount we put back to Salama.
So use the skills that you had as a developer to build the capital to start your own business, basically.
Yeah.
Kate, after you've finished your diploma in computer science, did you go into employment, or what was that journey like for you? Because I know you've been in this field for a number of years.
Yeah, true. Yes, I did work in total about 2 years, and I would encourage the youths to start there. There are some things you really need, like there's discipline that comes with employment, and there's a lot of learning, because it's not just about coding. Running a business is a whole different conversation. So I worked in a call center. I know they're looking at me. Yes, I was an agent in a call center. I worked as a love coach for 8 months.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
So-
what?
Yeah.
Wait,
so-
what?
Yeah.
What is?
And
What did that entail? I'm curious.
Then social media wasn't quite a big thing, so it entailed, like, it was an online service where basically people who have issues with their relationships would come online and talk to me. So it was more like a love doctor. I used
Wow.
to work at night. Yeah,
Maybe we need to have you back another time as a love doctor. Ndio.
Yeah.
Akuja atupatie
so
counseling.
I did that for 8 months. Then I moved on to a company that does solutions for banks that was just setting base in Kenya. It's called Tracom International. And I started developing on POS, where you swipe your credit and it authorizes. So I worked in the banking sector for about another 15 months, and then I decided to just quit employment.
And start your own thing.
Yes.
We're going to check out your app. I know your app has not launched yet, right?
No, our app has launched, or rather launched in 2013.
Okay.
And we have it running in 7 countries now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and across 5 different industries.
Okay, but you had told me it's not available on
iOS. So we
Okay,
are just
okay.
publishing the iOS
Okay, you're just
version,
publishing
so
it
it's
now.
on Android.
Yours is on
Google Play Store.
Google
Android.
Play Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to walk to the front here, and we can take the phones out so we can have a live demonstration of how these apps actually work. Again, created by these 2 young people. So we're just going to walk. Can we just walk to the front now? All right, let's come with me. View Sasa. All right. Okay, so if we can get a camera up here, I'll stand on this side. And as they're doing their thing here, opening up their apps, I think we'll start where do we start? We start on Edwin's, and you can walk us through it. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. So this is the Salama app. So I'll just open it. The home screen is very basic. It allows you to quickly trigger distress by the tap of a button. So when you install the app, it will direct you to the emergency contact where you can put a maximum of 3 emergency contacts. This could be a family or friends, people who like to alert in case of an emergency. Then one other thing you might have to do is come under emergency service providers. Choose the emergency service providers you want to link to. We have all these guys. So for example, if I choose St. John's, it should be able to allow me to link with the Salama app. So what happens is when you're in distress, there are 2 ways you can trigger distress on the Salama app. You can either long press volume down on your phone, the volume down button, or open the app, shake your phone to open the app. Then if you just shake, the app will open. Then tap on the emergency services you need. For example, we have under crime, we have armed robber, burglar, carjacker.
If you're robbed in your home.
Yes. And we also have road rescue, medical emergency, and gender violence. So let me, for example, trigger this. So once you tap on that, it will have a 7-second period that allows you to cancel or to add more information on the distress. So afterwards, after the 7-second times out, it will time out and send the distress to your emergency service provider. So in this case, you're working with Nairobi Women's Hospital for cases of gender violence. And then also down here, you can be able to call an agent if, for example, it was just you needed to talk to someone. It was just a verbal assault, not necessarily a physical assault.
Okay.
So, and then also down here we have a place where you can see whether your emergency has been delivered to your emergency contact. And also down here you have the access to the various, for example, the
Police,
nearest hospital and all that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
great
that's all about the
information.
Salama app.
All right, Kate. Let's take a look at your app. Maybe you can just walk us through also.
The app is called Akida, which is a Swahili name for supervisor, and it basically takes the need to have a supervisor going around. So every person in the field has a unique username and password. So they log in when they get to the field. So I log in as Kate. So the first thing when I get to the field is to check in. This basically allows me to take a selfie of myself to verify that I'm actually where I'm saying I am.
With this guy?
Yes, with this guy. So it picks my location information, date and time, and then now my administrator can already see where I am on the web, and then I can access the reports assigned to me. So we have different users, like marketing firms collect a lot of consumer insights, like if they're going to sell for instance, they're going to sell water. So I open my water and I say I've visited a grocery shop. I get the contact of the person, their phone number. So the forms are designed depending on what you're supposed to do. I take photos to confirm that I actually visited that person. I can record the audio to say that we had this conversation. This is the feedback.
This is a way of employers to keep track.
Yeah, and collect real-time information from the field.
From the employees
from
in the
the
field.
employees in the field.
Okay.
So when they submit this data, it comes to the backend, and it also carries their location information, the date and time, the photos they took when they were on location, and then it feeds into an analytics engine. So we integrate with Microsoft Power BI. We design dashboards, so as the field workers are pushing data in the field, you can see your automated dashboards depending on the data you're collecting.
Wow.
So you can be able to tell like which product is performing best in which region, for instance, who are the competitors, what are they doing better than you are, so that you can improve on your products. So it provides them with real-time authentic data, so you know you have people that you can actually account for all in the field.
That's very helpful.
It also allows them to push notifications to them in the field. So instead of having them costly SMSs, or so they
Send
can
emails,
yeah,
they
you
can
can push notifications and training information which they can reference within the same app, and they can also push messages like if they find something that is important in the field that their employers need to be aware of, or they're stuck in traffic, there are floods, they couldn't access a certain area, they can write a report, take photos and send that, and
so it's all
able
inclusive.
to verify that. Yeah, it's all inclusive.
Very nice. We're going to walk back to the stage there. Thank you guys for those live demonstrations. And we're going to, finish this discussion. Yeah, just go ahead and have a seat once again. How long did it take you guys to develop these apps?
So for my case, it took us around roughly, I can say 8 to around 8 months.
Around 8 months.
Yeah, that's when we first released the first version of Salama. But then as a product, you get feedback and you improve on it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a ever growing process. Even the fact that you're on Play Store and people can download Salama app.
Yes.
You're still working on it
You're
based
still
on
working
feedback.
on it. Exactly.
Yeah. What is your advice to someone who has that great, brilliant idea, wants to make an app, and maybe you can tell us how long that took you as well?
Yeah. In honesty, it's taken years and it's still work in progress. Like, this is the first version we are about to release of the iOS app. I'll tell them to just start. It will change. When I started, I was trying to address the issue of attendance verification in the field, and I built my first app on the Symbian phone, you know, those old Nokia phones, and then Android came into play. I had to build the Android version. Windows came and distracted me a bit. I built the Windows version, and then, you know, we got customers asking for different features. Like, it's not just about, we don't want to verify users in the field. We want to be able to collect real-time data from them and analyze that data. So start with that small, and develop the idea. Then find people who need the solution. Like, find partners who can actually help you build it. So it stops being an idea; it becomes a solution to somebody.
As young entrepreneurs, what's one piece of advice or biggest lesson have you learned in this process of being a techpreneur?
For me, I can say the most important lesson I've learned is it is very critical at the early stage to find a good team, a team that you can work together with what is called like synergy. Yeah. So for me, I think that's a very critical lesson, because this thing is a journey. When we began, we were just happy techie guys, but you learn you have to build a business around it. Yeah. And then there are more other things you have to do. So when you have a team, you help each other grow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What about you? Biggest lesson you've learned?
Patience is everything. Like, it just doesn't happen in a day, and there's so many challenges along the way. But as long as you don't quit and you keep on, eventually, it works out.
Right.
So when you're talking about a successful business, it's good to understand, like, it's a journey. It just didn't happen overnight. It can take years.
Did you have family support when you're embarking on these journeys? Because I know a lot of Kenyan parents just want you to go get a job. So I know you have a paycheck at the end of the month. These things you're doing, sijui apps kwa simu, they might not understand. So what was your experience?
Of course, my parents, if they're watching, I love them first, but they are also from the traditional employer mentality. So when I started this, it was tough for them to actually accept that I was doing this, because for me, just after university, we continued to do Salama. We did not seek employment or anything of the sort.
You just went straight,
So they were wondering, what is this you're doing? Because initially, we had not yet formed a business model around it. We just created an app that links you to help. So after a period of time, we learned to create a business model, and we were able to now start generating revenue. So it took us some time, but thankfully, of course, our parents were also patient with us. There's always this point where when you're growing, you don't have enough revenue, and the people around you actually support you, and that was very critical for us.
Right, we're just about out of time. Kate, I'm going to give you the last word here to other young people who are watching, who might have that diploma in computer science, wondering what's next. As you were, you went into employment first for 2 years. Just a word of advice from you.
Again, as I said, school gives you the basics. Get out and interact with the real users in the field. A lot of IT graduates sit and wait for jobs to, find them or to find employment, which is really hard, because in most cases, what we are building is not necessarily what school is teaching. There's a bit of disconnect between the employment industry and the education sector. So what I encourage them is, once you find your interest in tech, because tech is very broad. Like, if you love programming, don't just sit and start building something. Find if you're not looking actively for a job, you can better use that time building something, but don't just code.
Yeah.
Find somebody who has a problem and let them pay is the other thing.
Yeah.
No matter how small they pay, you know they need it, and then use them to build on that.
Right.
And by the time you're even seeking employment, you have something and you have a skill you've built. So that's
right.
what I would say.
Like you said, solutions.
Yeah.
I want you guys to give a hand to our panelists today for making time for us. Thank you so much Thank you so much for sharing your journeys and encouraging other young people who might be interested in the field that you're in, that it is possible. We're going to cross over to the other side of the studio for some live music. Standing by with Willis Rabur on the other side is